Here are 6 little fables. The Grasshopper and the Ant. Once upon a time, there was a grasshopper. He was a happy fellow who loved the sun and playing all day long. And his friend, the ant, who was more serious, but still enjoyed a good conversation. One hot summer day, the grasshopper was playing his violin, and happy as ever, when the ant came by again and again and again, carrying big pieces of corn. The grasshopper looked at him and said, "Why are you working so hard on such a pretty day?" The ant tried to explain that he and all of his ant friends were gathering food and storing it in their anthill. Now the grasshopper thought that was a silly thing to do when you could play and enjoy the sun. But not every day is sunny and warm. Soon the winter came, and the grasshopper was very hungry, and he was cold, and he didn't have anything to eat. But he thought about his friend the ant and all the food that the ants had stored in the anthill, and he thought he would go and ask them for help. When he got to the anthill, most of the ants said, "Oh no, we worked hard all summer. You didn't do anything but play your violin and rest in the sun. We're not going to help you." But his good friend the ant took pity on him and gave him some corn. When the grasshopper thought about how nice the ant had been, he promised that next summer he would help the ants gather food and store it up for the cold winter. The Fisherman and the Little Fish. A man went fishing one day to get some dinner for his family. He cast out his line over and over again, and finally, late in the afternoon, when he was very tired, he caught a fish. But it was a very small fish. Just when he was about to put it in his basket to take it home, the little fish looked up at him and said, "I'm so small, Mr. Fisherman. You don't want to eat me. I'd hardly be a mouthful. Throw me back, and in a few weeks' time I'll be a much bigger fish and a much better meal for your family." But the fisherman laughed. He said, "I am not that dumb. I'm going to keep what I have, even if it's small." And he put the fish in his basket and took it home for dinner. The Fox and the Grapes. It was a very, very hot summer day when the fox happened to walk into the vineyard. He was very thirsty, and he looked, and there were the most beautiful, yummy, sweet grapes you could possibly imagine. The fox knew that they would taste wonderful. So Fox decided to jump and get some. And jump. And jump again. And again. no luck. He couldn't reach the grapes no matter what he did. So he stood there and he was really mad. He growled to himself, "Those dumb grapes probably don't taste good anyway." And he slunk out of the vineyard. And we should learn from the fox that if you want something, you don't give up. You just keep trying. The Hare and the Tortoise. Once upon a time there was a hare and a tortoise who were friends with all the animals in the forest. Now the hare was showing off. "I'm so fast," he said. "I can beat any of you in a race." So the tortoise looked him right in the eye and said, "I challenge you to a race." Now the hare and all of the animals laughed and laughed that the tortoise, the slowest guy in the place, should get into the race. But he was very sure of himself. And they got ready, and off the two went on their race. And they ran through the countryside. And the hare got really far ahead. But the tortoise, he just kept going. Dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum. And after a while, they got into the town again. And the hare took a nap. He was so far ahead, he was so sure he was going to win. But the tortoise, he just kept going. Dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum. And lo and behold, walked right past him. And the tortoise got ahead. And he just kept going. Dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum. Suddenly, Hare woke up, realized what has happened, and started to run at top speed. But he was too late. The tortoise broke the ribbon and won the race. And it just goes to show everybody that slow and steady wins the race. The sun and the wind. One day, the sun and the wind were having a conversation. And they got into a little argument about who was stronger. The sun was sure he was stronger, but the wind was just as sure that he was stronger. So they decided to have a little competition. They saw a man walking down the road, and they decided whichever of them could get the man to take his coat off, that's who would be the stronger of the two of them. So Wind went first, and he blew, whoo, and he blew, and he blew even harder, and all the man did was grab his coat and pull it tighter around him. So then the sun said, "All right, it's my turn." And the sun came out, and he shone hotter and hotter down on that man. And it didn't take very many minutes at all before the man took off his coat and sat down under a tree to get away from it. So it was decided that between the sun and the wind, the sun was stronger. And now the boy who cried wolf. There was this shepherd boy, and he spent every day out in the fields taking care of the sheep. But he was bored. He was lonely. Nobody to play with. Nobody to talk to but sheep. So he thought he would play a joke. He thought it would be funny if he yelled, "Wolf! Wolf! Wolf!" And sure enough, everybody in the village grabbed their weapons and grabbed their things and came running out to chase the wolf away. And the boy laughed, ha 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 ha, I got you. What a good joke. Then we grumbled, yeah, that was funny. And they went back to their work, and back to their houses, and back to their games. A few days later, boy still thought it would be funny, so he tried it again. Wolf, he cried, Wolf, Wolf, come help me. And again, everybody came running out from the town. But there was no wolf, and they did not think it was funny. In fact, they were very angry with him, and everyone went back to their houses, grumbling. What happened? That not long after that, a wolf really did show up to eat the sheep. And the little boy cried, Wolf! 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 Over and over again. Help me! Wolf! There's really a wolf! Nobody came to help him, and he had to chase that wolf all by himself. Because when people tell fibs, after a while nobody believes them, even if it's the truth.